Good morning. Quick video. Happy Labor Day from Anchorage, Alaska. Hoping the audio is decent enough to get my point across. It's not by my standards, but we'll do it for now. So, get right into it. Had a conversation with a friend from Andrews, great friend. But yeah, the topic of discussion occurred after I posted it, just a normal clip of me playing piano or whatever. And of course, she wanted to learn. It was one of her long, wants, her passions to learn how to play piano. And of course, it's a lot of people's, ambition to be creative in one way or another, whether it be YouTube or playing an instrument. And so, of course, I kind of explained how long I've been playing and, how I started playing in my dad's church and, self-taught. I did take lessons for like maybe a week, never stuck. I was in band, same thing. I've always played instruments by ear. It's never been something that, I've learned clinically. Kind of like my boy who picks up instruments, but he learns the right way, the music theory, the notes, all the clinical knowledge that will assist you in your career. He had all those. I've always been that. I hear it, I'll figure it out. There's patterns somewhere. Find the principle, find the pattern, and then go from there. Well, anyway, after explaining a couple, things to her in that area, simple questions. Do you own a piano? The answer was no. Do you have a scheduled lesson in terms of, do you have someone you go to get lessons from? The answer was no. Does your support system know about your goal to play the piano? Are they assisting you? Are you practicing daily? Do you have access to a piano that you can practice daily on? How long are you practicing per day? None. Zero. How are you supposed to learn? I'm not saying you need to go the clinical route and learn the music theory behind it. I'm not saying you need to go my route and learn strictly by ear and find the patterns and connect the dots and then just learn how to play that way. But if you're not making any movement towards that goal, how do you expect to learn? And so the conversation progressed to the point where literally in the conversation, she mentioned how, all right, maybe I just don't want to learn. Maybe it's just a phase. Maybe I don't really want to learn piano, whatever. I'll move on to something else. I'll skip, I'll back burner that. I'll put it back on the shelf of, dead dreams, things that, maybe it was not meant for me. Maybe it's not in God's will. Maybe fate has decided that I'm not supposed to play piano in my lifetime. And of course, in proper fashion, the way I tend to operate, I had to call her on it because it's a straight up lie. It's a lie. Now, maybe what she said is true in terms of maybe you won't learn how to play piano, but the fact that you want to play piano, let's not kid ourselves and say that what you want has all of a sudden changed to something you don't want just because you're not doing the proper things to attain it. Let's remove her from the equation. Let's put me in there because this channel is about documenting. It's about self-awareness. It's about me documenting my life, my journey, my things that I'm learning, my successes, my failures. This channel is about me in terms of documenting my life and not always putting others on blast because obviously it's real easy to point out other people's failures. It's real easy to point out other people and say, you're not doing this correctly. This is why you're failing. This is what you need to change. Let's look at me. So last year, I hired a trainer, personal trainer in terms of fitness. I had a set goal, real easy goal in terms of, well, definitely not easy, but in terms of the steps that I need to take in order to achieve a certain goal of looking fit, because I am fit in terms of function. I'm very strong. I can be fast. I'm very functional in my body, but I don't look like I work out 6 days a week. I don't look Instagram worthy, if you will. So I hired a trainer. He put me on a meal plan. He's the whole nine of I'm paying this guy heavy money. I'm like, bro, make me look different, man. And I still look the same as I did when I hired him. Now, where do we go from here in terms of, because I'm going to gym after I make this video. Where do we go from here in terms of where I stand with that goal? Because I still want that. But if I'm honest with myself, and if she was honest with herself, she would realize I'm not doing what is required to achieve this goal consistently enough to get it. Simple as that. Simple as that. If we're honest with ourselves, we will acknowledge the fact that other humans have achieved something. Other humans have gotten what I want. They're just like me, if not in a better or worse position. It doesn't matter. Especially if they're in a worse position than I am, if they have less resources than I have, and they achieved what I want, the same exact thing that I want, but they had less resources, less access, less knowledge, less wisdom, and they achieved it, what is my excuse now? Do I quit and say, maybe it's not meant for me. Maybe God has a different plan for my life. They got married. Maybe it's not in the cards. Maybe I just go over here and just I'll pick something else. I'll pick something else. Well, it's a lie. It's a lie if we're honest with ourselves. It's a lie. It's time for us, including myself, and it's something I'm constantly aware of. But again, the actions are difficult by definition. If you look at Instagram, if you look at the people that we tend to look up to, admire, the only reason why we admire these people, and the only reason why these people may or may not be famous or have blown up in their space, is because they've implemented discipline in areas that we haven't. If you look at anyone who's successful, the difference between them and you typically, or them and I, is discipline. If you look at the greatest fitness influencers, whether or not they're on steroids, whether or not they're on juice, whatever, it doesn't matter. There's a certain amount of discipline required to look that way. It's just as simple as that. Simple as that. I don't look the way I want to look because I'm not disciplined. I'm not disciplined. There's no other way to put it. It's simple as that. I have a ton of influence. Most of my Instagram is just fitness related because I want to constantly see it. But at no point can I drift into the phase or the conversation of, woe is me. I wish I could be like them. They have better genetics. They're cutting corners. They're ectomorphs by that they were born skinny, that they don't gain weight. I wish I was naturally skinny because then I just eat whatever I want and I just gain weight. Of course I wish. But if I focused on nothing but what I wish things were, how I wish things were, the way I think things should be, how would I progress in life? Just realize that everything that we want, including myself, is accessible. It's highly probable to get most things. And the difference between you having it and not having it is discipline. The difference between me having what I want and not having what I want is discipline. Most things in my life are not hard for me. Most things. We did that color personality test in the NCO PME class I went to, and they identified me quite easily as green. The green personality was just highly analytical, structured. Just put 2 and 2 together, you get 4. Simple as that. Some people are blue, where they're more emotionally inclined. That they'd like to feel and kind of vibe their way through situations, which is the opposite of me typically. But I do have some traits like that. Then you have the oranges and the golds, where they're kind of interchangeable in a lot of different ways. One just tends to be a little bit more structured. One's a little more outgoing. Either way, it doesn't matter at the end of the day in terms of, did you do what you were required to do to get what you want? Simple as that. Simple as that. Woe to those. Just be careful. Be careful. It's real easy. It's real easy to slip into, that conversation of, it's not meant for me. I don't want it. I'll just try something else. Maybe the Air Force is not going to work. Maybe the Marines is too hard. Maybe the Navy is just, it's too restrictive. Maybe the Army is too rough. Look at your options. Wisdom gives you more options. It retains your options. It keeps your options available to you. And then, with every mistake you make, depending on the degree, you lose options. That's life. That's life. So as you move through, a certain space, you realize that I have a certain amount of things available to me. And depending on the decisions I make, the quality of decisions I make, I have certain accesses. And then from there, I'm able to, implement discipline, consistency, and get what I want. So currently, because I see a couple of questions, to shed light on my personal fitness, the only thing I struggle with, the only thing, is eating. Eating. There's a YouTuber I follow. I'm not going to mention his name because he's highly controversial, but I enjoy his content. Probably in a lot of ways, the same ways that you guys like mine. Most likely is due to the lack of candy coating. The lack of candy coating. Most people prefer their truth in that version. A lot of people they would like to be, cuddled into discipline or cuddled into truth. I prefer you just tell me the house is on fire, get out. Don't kind of wake me up softly and, hey, you're gonna burn. That the heat is rising in the building. No, just tell me the house is on fire, I'll get out. Simple as that. But he mentioned something about therapy and in terms of when you finally admit that you're an emotional eater, you eat for comfort, you eat for any other reason besides health, nutrition, and survival. You need to implement therapy into your life because you're eating for the wrong reasons. You're doing something that is beyond its intentional use. I remember at work this past week when I was justifying some purchases that some cardholders made, and I mentioned a line that I typically throw out very, very quickly in terms of justifying certain things. Well, the quote was, using something for anything beyond its intention, its original use or its intentional use, the reason why it was designed. If you use something for a reason other than what it was designed for, it's by definition abuse. That was a whole mouthful. Using something for any reason beyond what it was originally designed for is abuse. If I use this camera as a hammer, it's abuse. I've abused this camera. So to keep that in line with what I was originally talking about, you want to realize that you will encounter a phase in your life. I don't know what this thing is doing. You encounter a phase in life where the truth is going to be uncomfortable. The actions that are required of you are uncomfortable, but yet they remain. So therapy. When I think about the foods I'm eating, when I think about the reasons why I eat, the times I eat, the choices I make in a given moment, I'm not enough to solve that problem. I am not enough in terms of, it has nothing to do with willpower. It has to do everything with expertise and professionalism in certain areas where I can watch all the YouTube videos I want, I can read all the books I want, but until I invest into myself in a professional manner, in basically getting a second opinion outside of myself that is in the present moment, another human being to help me, unravel that area of my life that I'm struggling with, it won't change. It won't change. So that's really where I'm at. That's where I'm at in terms of my eating. It is what it is. I have no problem going to the gym. I have no problem, hiking up a mountain or a hill or, just getting outdoors, go playing sports. But there's certain areas of your life where you're going to realize, I can't fix this by myself. The YouTuber has a famous quote, and I love that quote. You've been in charge of your life up until this point. Your best thinking has got you where you are. Your best thinking has gotten you where you are. Now what? You are currently here. And for a lot of us, we've done the best we can. A lot of us didn't have, we're quick to compare ourselves to people with a lot of resources and a lot of money. And we like to think that they are better than us because they have money, but they struggle in their own way. They struggle in their own ways. If you properly, incorporate empathy, you realize that they struggle in just the different ways than we do. So that's where I'm at. But yeah, I really wanted to impress upon you all, not to kid yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Don't tell yourself you don't want what you want. If you want it, you want it. I want a Lamborghini. I can't afford it right now, but I'm not going to lie and say I don't want the Lamborghini just because I can't afford it. No, work. Change. Be different. Evolve. Those things are available to other human beings. Do what's necessary. That's the video. I will see y'all next stream. Say it was good to your boy.